Have you ever wondered why the person who loves you the most also knows how to trigger you the fastest? It's like they're the ones who press your buttons. And do you know ways to stop that? Because there are. This is Kathy. For over 25 years, I've helped women declutter their minds and step into more peace, prosperity, and presence. In today's video, I'll explain why your mom has such a powerful emotional impact on you and how to stay in calm in those moments when you're feeling like, using a 60-second technique that helps you stop reacting and respond in a centered way. The reason it's easy to get triggered with your mom or someone, who's been around in your life for a long time, siblings, whatever, is because you have a history with them. Not low surface level stuff, but like deep emotional memories, wounding, and connection. And these people know on some level, maybe not here, but they know on some level your insecurities and the ways that you can be impacted. And especially those moments where you didn't feel seen or understood. A lot of times these people, like our mothers or grandparents or another, our father, have been involved in that. And so there's that deep emotional hit. And that's what a trigger is. It's your nervous system reacting to something that's old. It's not new. It's acting to something old, like responding to something old as though it's happening right now. You can think of a trigger like a bruise you didn't know you had, and then life presses on it and you're like, ow, right? And it's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to show you where more healing is needed, where it hasn't been fully resolved, okay? So that means when your mom says something today, you don't just hear the words, it feels like the past, even though in your conscious mind, you might not be aware of that. So instead of seeing your mom as the problem when these things come up, you can invite the trigger to be a blessing, a gift, and even a mirror by shifting your perspective. So one thing that I teach my clients is every time you feel triggered, you repeat to yourself, thank you for showing me where I'm not yet free. Thank you for showing me where I'm not yet free. Because there's like this, right? A holding on, a gripping in your psyche, right? Oh, you could also instead say like, thank you for showing me where I still have healing to do, or thank you for showing me where I still have space to grow. And this will do wonders for you as you remember that every trigger you have isn't here to press on that bruise. It's here to show you something and then strengthen you and allow you to come more into harmony on a soul level, okay? So if you're struggling with emotional triggers with your mom or your spouse or someone else big in your life, click on the link in the description and I'll help you learn to handle this situation in a calm, collected way. I've been doing this for years. So even when you understand this, why do you still feel so reactive in the moment, right? I mean, it's easy to understand, but then when a situation comes along, we can still be like, so there's another crucial point that can help you not be so triggered. See, oftentimes the real problem isn't what the person has just said, even though it may feel like that's the problem. It's really your resistance to it. So they say something and then you think, oh my gosh, they shouldn't have said that, or something worse. And so they shouldn't have acted that way. They shouldn't have done that, right? Any shouldn't haves are creating internal tension. They're your mind's story that's causing resistance. And that resistance is what makes the trigger feel so strong. It feels so intense because you're pushing against. So emotions are like waves, right? When you stop resisting and pushing against, the wave passes. The wave can move. Remember that saying, what we resist persists. And that's super true. So whenever your mother or your spouse says something that triggers you, instead of pushing the feeling away, pushing that resistance, pushing that anger, pushing that frustration away, welcome it. And I've made a video on this already, but the essence is take a breath, stay calm, tap into your body, even if there's contraction here, because often there is, let's be real, often there's contraction here. And so you can tap into what you're feeling right now and just be like, okay, you're welcome here, right? Any feeling you have, if you push against it, it kind of sticks around longer. If you're like, okay, you're here, and I'm going to allow you to be here, and I can soften around this, it allows it to flow more. And if you can move your body, all the better. You know, that's why some people like to run. I like to dance. Music is amazing for moving energy. And even just going for a small walk, right? This way you're not pushing down the energy or, thinking that it shouldn't be there. You're allowing it to move. And it's distracting for the mind, then you don't ruminate so much. So peace doesn't come from changing that other person, right? Changing your mom, changing your spouse. Peace comes from returning to harmony within yourself. And taking these little actions can really help to do that. So if you want to learn more personalized practices for your own situation, join my email list, and there's the second link in the description to help you do that. And we can connect, and I'll share many practices, because over the past 25 years, I've accumulated a lot of them, and we can hone in on the ones that are personally best for you. Hey, so now you have practices for moving that energy, but what if you change how you respond in the moment and your heart still hurts? How do you soften that quickly? Okay. And this one is particularly applicable for your mom, although you can find ways of gearing it for other people as well. And this is one of the fastest ways to dissolve a trigger. So with your mother, one thing you can do is remember the things that she went through. You weren't always easy to deal with. So remember the things she had to go through while raising you, her sacrifices, whether that was carrying you in her belly for months and months, waking up with you in the middle of the night when you were sick, the pain that you caused her. Right? Even you can do this with your spouse in slightly different ways, or your siblings. And when you think about how she carried you in many different ways, right? Whether it was in her belly, or if you were adopted, carrying someone around in their arms too is a lot. And to bring you into this world, to nurture you into a person who could function on their own, she went through a lot of different pains, whether it's labor pain, which, it is real, or other pains, other sacrifices. She fed you when you were helpless. She stayed up with you when you were sick. She gave her time, energy, and her sleep, her life energy to raising you, to educating you. And so, when we look at a single cloudy day, right, this is the moment of angst, the single rainy or cloudy day, and then we get to remember instead of forget that there are years of sunshine behind that. Like there is still the sun behind that. Okay. So doing this, like shifting our perspective a little bit. And if you've worked with me, you know, I'm a huge proponent of being able to shift our perspective to see different points of view. That's when the trigger loses its intensity, because gratitude enters the space, a larger perspective instead of so narrow on like this particular situation. So when we widen our perspective, we're able to have more wisdom around the experience. So you're not doing this to ignore your feelings. You're doing it to balance them with compassion. It's like that way you're not getting fixated on the cloud that's here or the rain. You're helping to open up the vantage point and recognize whether the weather emotionally also is temporary. None of it's permanent. Okay, no emotion, no thought, no feeling you've ever had in your life is a permanent experience. So this helps provide some perspective. And from this place, you can respond instead of reacting to a situation. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you would like personalized help, you can click the first link in the description below and we'll hop on a call and we will help navigate who's triggering you and how to fully become free, emotionally free.